Princess Nilofar went to buy an extremely beautiful bird from a merchant at a very high price. The merchant told the princess that the bird, named Notam, could also speak. Whatever question was asked, the bird would immediately give its answer. The princess bought the bird and brought it to the palace, placing it in her room. The bird's feathers were colorful and its appearance resembled a parrot. On its head was a beautiful crown-like crest which made it look exceptionally stunning. When the bird addressed the princess in a melodious voice saying, "O most beautiful princess of the world, Princess Nilofar, Notam greets you." The princess was astonished to hear her name from the bird's mouth. "What's the matter, Notam? You seem so sad." "Didn't you like that I bought you from the merchant?" she asked. "No, Your Highness. That merchant didn't even give me one proper meal a day. At least a kind princess like you wouldn't be so cruel to me," the bird replied in its sweet, melodious tone. "Don't worry," said the princess. "I promise I will never let you go hungry. Whatever you ask for, I will ensure it is brought to you immediately." The bird asked, "Do you mean to say that whatever I request to eat, you will provide it?" "Absolutely," the princess replied. "Our gardens are full of juicy and delicious fruits of all kinds. Just name it and I'll have it brought to you right away." The bird then asked, "Could you get me the fruit of Siloob?" "Siloob? What kind of fruit is that?" "I believe this is the first time I've heard its name," Princess Nilofar exclaimed in surprise. "The fruit of Siloob isn't found here. It only—" The bird paused. "Your Highness, you can give me anything else to eat and I will happily accept it," it said with a heavy sigh. "You seem very sorrowful. Tell me, what's troubling you? And how do you know my name?" she inquired. "I've never seen a bird like you, one that speaks, nor have I heard a name as peculiar as Notam. It's an unusual name." "Yes, Princess, you're correct," the bird replied. "There is no other bird in this world by the name of Notam." The bird said, "Your Highness, I am not actually a bird. I am like you, a human being. My name is Prince Notam and I am a prince of the land of Fars, Tabook. The sorcerer, who is the most powerful and terrifying magician in the world, used his magic to transform me into a bird. Until a month ago I was a human just like you. At that time I had gone hunting in the forest with some of my friends. While in the forest I caught sight of an incredibly beautiful golden cat. I decided to catch the cat and take it back to my palace, so I urged my horse to chase it, but the cat ran very swiftly. It kept running until it entered a large, crumbling palace. Night was approaching, and I had lost my companions. I thought it best to spend the night in that palace. I saw a broken door and entered the palace through it. As soon as I stepped into the palace," the bird continued, "I was surrounded by terrifying black jinn-like creatures with monstrous appearances. Their eyes glowed like fiery embers, and they pressed their swords and spears against my body. 'Move forward,' one of them commanded in a thunderous voice. They escorted me to a massive hall-like room where everything was made of gold, silver, and precious jewels. At the center of the hall, on an elevated platform, was a throne. Sitting on the throne was an old sorcerer with a fearsome face. In his lap sat the same golden cat that had led me to this palace. The sorcerer was stroking the cat's head lovingly. The old sorcerer then commanded 2 terrifying jinn with horns to take me to Mazik the giant so that he could explain everything to me in detail. I then found myself in another place," the bird continued. "The walls, the ceiling, and even everything in that room were a deep red. A blazing fire burned in the center, over which a large cauldron was placed. Around the cauldron lay scattered human skulls and bones. Nearby stood a horrifying figure, Mazik the giant. He spoke in a thunderous voice. 'Listen, human. Tabook the sorcerer is our master. Under his command, the golden cat lured you here. Our master desires a small task from you. Master Tabook is 100 years old. According to the decree of the god of magic, he must marry a beautiful princess and drink her blood to become immortal. Your task is to bring Princess Nilofar here. If you fail to fulfill the master's command, the blood of you and your entire family will be boiled in this cauldron and served to the sorceress to drink.' With that, Mazik transformed me into a bird and sent me to you. I beg your forgiveness, Your Highness, for I am helpless in this matter." Before the princess could say anything, The bird suddenly bit her hand. She fainted from the pain, and the bird carried her away, flying high into the sky. The very next moment, the unconscious and beautiful Princess Nilofar fell before Tabook the sorcerer. Just then, Mazik the giant appeared, holding a cage in his hand that contained Prince Notam in his bird form. Mazik said, "Master, Prince Notam has brought the princess as commanded. What shall we do with him now?" Tabook the sorcerer replied, "Leave them both here. I will handle the rest myself." Mazik bowed respectfully and vanished from sight. Tabook then raised his hands, and a beam of light emerged from his palms, shining upon the princess. Instantly, she regained consciousness. Confused and startled, she asked, "Who are you? What is this place? And who brought me here?" At that moment, the princess's gaze fell on the cat sitting on the throne and the cage lying near it, which held the same beautiful bird. Seeing the bird reminded the princess of everything. "This was the same cursed bird, Notam, that had trapped me in your clutches. I will not let it go." Suddenly, the cage was in the sorcerer's hands, and he spoke, "Do not be surprised, princess. This is an enchanted cage. Since it is in my magical palace, the magic is intensifying. If you touch it, it will instantly burn to ashes. But don't worry, you want to destroy this bird, right? I'll do that for you." The bird fluttered in the sorcerer's hands. Just as he was about to sever the bird's neck with a dagger, the princess immediately spoke, "Stop! This is not your enemy, it is mine. Take it back to its original form. I want to punish it myself because it deceived me." Then Tabook the sorcerer asked, "Are you truly willing to marry me?" The princess replied, "When this bird told me about your powers and that you are the greatest sorcerer in the world, I had already decided that I would marry you. I have a deep desire to learn magic. Although you are old and unattractive, I know that with your magic you can easily transform into a young and handsome man." "Very well," said Tabook. "I shall fulfill my queen's wish." He recited an incantation, and the bird in his hands transformed into a handsome young prince. "Here, princess, I have returned it to its original form. I have turned it into stone. Now you can punish it as you wish. It will scream and cry, but it will not move an inch." With these words, Tabook handed a dagger to the princess. "No, Tabook," the princess replied. "I won't enjoy punishing it this way. I want to torture it slowly, undo your spell on it, and instead of this dagger, bring me a whip so I can flay its skin." Tabook flicked his finger toward the princess, and the dagger in her hand turned into a whip. Then, with another flick of his finger, the prince returned to his original form. Afterward, Tabook lifted the golden cat from the throne and disappeared. The prince, looking at the princess, said, "I am at your mercy. Whatever punishment you choose for me, I will accept." The princess replied, "You should not have betrayed me. I had already decided to help you when I first heard your story, but now we must destroy the sorcerer and escape from here." Before they could make a move, Tabook suddenly reappeared, saying, "I was here all along, invisible. Now prepare yourselves for a harsh punishment." Tabook recited an incantation, and the prince was suspended upside down from the ceiling. Before the princess could react, Mazik, the demon, appeared and seized her. Tabook commanded the demon, "Dress her in a radiant, shimmering gown so that I can marry her and drink her blood." Then Tabook the sorcerer approached the prince and said, "Do you see this cat, prince? This is no ordinary cat. I have imprisoned my soul within it. Even if you both attacked me, it would not harm me, as my life is bound to this cat. Now, this cat will drink your blood and kill you, and it will make me even stronger. I use the blood of young men like you to empower myself." As the sorcerer finished speaking, the cat transformed into a ferocious lion. It lunged toward the prince. "I first heard your story, but now we must destroy the sorcerer and escape from here." Before they could make a move, Tabook suddenly reappeared, saying, "I was here all along, invisible. Now prepare yourselves for a harsh punishment." Tabook recited an incantation, and the prince was suspended upside down from the ceiling. Before the princess could react, Mazik, the demon, appeared and seized her. Tabook commanded the demon, "Dress her in a radiant, shimmering gown so that I can marry her and drink her blood." Then Tabook the sorcerer approached the prince and said, "Do you see this cat, prince? This is no ordinary cat. I have imprisoned my soul within it. Even if you both attacked me, it would not harm me, as my life is bound to this cat. Now, this cat will drink your blood and kill you, and it will make me even stronger. I use the blood of young men like you to empower myself." As the sorcerer finished speaking, the cat transformed into a ferocious lion. It lunged toward the prince, ready to attack. But before it could strike, the princess threw a sword from behind, hitting the lion perfectly. The lion vanished instantly, and with its death, Tabook the sorcerer writhed in agony before disappearing forever. Prince, turning to the princess, asked, "Where did you get that sword? And how did you know the sorcerer's life was tied to the cat?" The princess replied, "When Mazik the demon dragged me inside, I snatched his sword and killed him. Then I escaped and ran here. When I saw the lion about to attack you, I threw the sword and struck it by sheer luck. I had no idea that this cat held Tabook's life, nor did I know it would destroy him." As soon as the sorcerer died, his enchanted palace began to shake and crumble, collapsing entirely. The prince and princess found themselves standing in an open field. The prince then escorted the princess back to her castle. Upon returning home, he told his parents about the princess and her bravery. Soon after, he went to her palace with a marriage proposal, which the princess happily accepted.